you've likely all heard of the term dynamic content, but as Jess said, like, we want to know what it really means. So to me, it's when I open an email and I feel like that brand really gets me. They have used perhaps the data that I've given them when I've signed up, and they've considered those preferences and that information that I've shared, and it's actually recognizable in the content that they then send to me after I've signed up or throughout the journey that I'm working with them or opening their emails. So it's when you have that experience that the content feels like it's just for you. It creates that brand connection. And as Jess said, trust is so important. And if you feel like that data that you've provided has been used to personalize that content, it instills a really good level of trust between you and that brand. So that's dynamic content. It's using the data that you have to create personal content. That can be at, say, a segmentation level. So you're using CRM data, so it's perhaps gender targeting, or you're using some basic category level targeting, persona targeting, or you can even take that all the way through to leveraging like advanced behavioral segmentation. So you're getting that individual level of content delivered to each customer. So it's truly tailored and unique to each subscriber. And you can set the parameters for the entire campaign, but the actual content varies on each individual subscriber's data. And dynamic content, it's a really powerful personalization tool. So first up, you can use dynamic content to create more visually compelling content within your email. But you can also use content automation tools to help you move from being able to send a couple of versions of an email. So, you're manually building these out perhaps in your ESP, but you can use content automation tools to move beyond that, to send hundreds or thousands or like limitless versions of an email automatically generated from one HTML. And you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours coding out all of those versions. So you can get to personalization at scale. And like I said in my intro, it's not just a one-off project. Personalization should be like a business-wide goal where every email is considered as a personalized communication to a customer. And with consumer demand, personalization really should be in every email. We've all seen the stats. We know that customers expect that level of personalization. So automating whatever content you can, it eliminates that need and the resource, the hassle, the stress, delete as appropriate for you in terms of actually building that email. And you can get to those endless possibilities of different versions of an email with dynamic content. And freeing up time, that means that you can focus on performance optimizations and continually refine all of your emails that you've got going out of the door. If your email, looks better, it's more personalized, you'll see the engagement metrics increasing. So, 74% of marketers say that customer engagement is increased by targeted personalization, and that's not a surprise. If we find an email in our inbox that's got, our name on it, it's got all of our content that we've seen before, perhaps that we've engaged with, things that are interesting to us, then we're going to engage with it. So yeah, you can use dynamic content as a means to get personalized content into email, but you can also use dynamic content that updates and changes as the send unfolds. So you can improve engagement by enabling interactivity within emails too. So things like actually asking customers to communicate their interest back to you, using a live poll, have your say, vote for this, what are you interested in? You can also change content based on contextual factors, so time, device, weather, where somebody's opening that email, for example. And you can also use dynamic content to create urgency for things like upcoming events, sales, or even things like counting down to the moment that your flight takes off as you're headed off on holiday. So all really great experiences that help to personalize your content. And, as I've just run through those use cases, dynamic content can range in complexity, but the goal is always to make each message feel custom curated to each individual so that it resonates with that person opening the email.